Hello, hi, and welcome to the channel. Welcome to the video tutorial about a rock and how to UV map it and how to texture it. So first of all, go to Blender, open Blender, delete, right click and go delete. Now, my rock is an OBJ, so you go to File, Import. It's an OBJ, so an OBJ, go to Download, find a rock. I've got a couple of different rocks here, that's for different videos. So I'm going to open the file, we're going to load in a rock. Now, as you can see, this rock is no ordinary rock. And I think, well, I don't want to watch a video about rock. Now, the reason why I'm showing you my assets is one, they're really kind of low quality. I'll show you. If you look at the quality of it, it's really kind of low quality. It's got a bit of detail to it. If you look at the rock itself, it's not like no ordinary rock. Now, the reason why I made the rock like this, because if you go over here, now let's say you want to make the rock longer. Let's say you want to squish it down, so now it's like a bit of a rock on the seaside, like a, maybe something like that. It's up to you how you want to scale the rock and which kind of shape you actually want the rock to be. You can have the rock smaller, bigger. It's up to you however you want the rock. As I said, this one particular rock, I made a whole entire world out of this one rock. And now all I've done was change the texture on the rock. That's all I've done. So it's just a kind of small video to show you how to basically do the rock. So what you want to do is pick a color for a rock. To pick a color, if you look at the floor in Blender, you see that little grey line that's around there? That's the color that's actually on that rock. To save you I'll open the rock and show you. If you click on material, I'm going to get rid of the material so you can actually see what I'm doing. So get rid of the material. So it's gone. Add a new material to your actual rock. Once you've done that, if you pull this over a little bit, down here you see base color. If you click here and click on the eyedropper, and if you go around the floor and you can kind of pick on the little grey part like this, that's it there, look. If you want the colour for it, if you go to the Hicks, the RGB colour is here. So it's RGB. If you want the other colour, it's there. I use the Hicks colour because it's only one simple number, it's just easier. So if you just highlight it and just press Control C, you can copy it and Control V, paste it. Now that's how I'm going to do my rock. So that's the colour I want for that rock. So go here, apply the colour. So that rock now is that colour. If we go into this view, I'll be able to see the colour look. If I actually export the rock, if I've done that, I could actually bring it back in as an OBJ and it would actually, instead of looking like that, it would actually look like that. So then can we do that? Okay, we'll do that. So I'm going to show you, click on the rock. So all we've done is pick the colour for the actual rock. Go here, export. Export it as an OBJ. Go back to your downloads. Go back to your new file. I'm going to import it in here so you know it's the same file. Delete that. Tick the boxes here. Tick the colour, keep the triangles. Forget that. Ignore that. Tick these. Ignore the smooth for now. Click that. It's okay. Now what we can do, we go in here and delete the rock. Go back in here, import the rock. Just so you can actually get the idea of actually importing and exporting. So it is the same rock. So we're going to import it. And you notice now when we import it, it's a different kind of colour. It's darker because it's to do with the lighting. That's what it's to do with. And not only is it to do with the lighting, when we picked the colour from the floor, we didn't actually pick that colour in the crack. We actually picked this colour, more or less. So I'm going to check it. Now, I know the colour of that floor is that code right there. So if I go to this code here, I press Control C to copy it. If I come back down to here and go into this one, I don't want a colour dropper. Go in here, click on here, make sure it's on Hicks, and just copy and paste, Control V, or you can just type 45, 45, and 45, and press apply. You'll notice it looks like the same colour, which is kind of the same colour. Click on the rock, go back to export, we're going to export it, and go back to here, delete. You can delete that one, just delete the OBJ. Click that, back in here, delete it. Import it. This is just so you get in the habit of actually exporting and importing the actual rock. Now this colour here is actually the colour that's actually in the gap. So if you actually look at it in proper sunlight, it looks like that. Look, it actually is the same colour as that. So it's not actually that colour. Just to let you know that. But we're not here to colour in the rock. We are here to colour in the rock, but we're here to learn about the UV map. Press the UV map for the rock. Look at me, so you can kind of see the rock. Now we'll go to UV map, go down to new, press the UV map. Now it's gonna, this is obviously how you load the UV map. We're not loading one, we want to make a new one. So go here, new, give it a name. In my case, well, it's not called that. So let's go over here, copy the name. You can give it a name, just call it rock if you want to. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to call it rock underscore, and then I'm going to put UV on it, just so it knows that. I'm going to make it a 32-bit and tile it. You can change the size of the map if you want to. I'm going to leave mine on 1024. That's more than big enough for a rock. Click that. It's actually big enough, more big enough for anything. Leave it like that. Now look at your rock. You're thinking, how come I can't see the rock on here? Go here. Select the whole entire rock. Go here. Select all of it. Now you can actually see the rock. Go back to the UV map. We're going to go export it. Export the map. It's going to ask you where do you want to put it. We're going to put it in here. We're going to call it UV map. So click here, delete the map. Leave it on 1024 if that's the size you want. Export that. Okay, now what we want to do is go into texture. If you look at your texture, you don't have a texture on your actual rock. What's texture? I'll show you what a texture is. What you want to do is go here, create a new texture. Create, obviously give it a name, underscore, and I'm going to call it TX for texture. And I'm going to tile it, and I'm going to say, okay. Now the texture changes like that. I think okay. Go to image, save it as. Now save it as a texture like this. Click this, delete it, save the image. Okay, now we've got a UV map for our model, and we've got a texture for it. So now we can go over here, go back into object mode, leave it like that. Go down here, make sure you're in object mode. Go down to texture, go new. We're not making a new one. Press the shield, go here, go to downloads, find your UV map, because that's what we're doing. Click on it, go open. Open the UV map, and you can see what's there. Click the shield, just press that if you want to refresh it, so it refreshes the actual map. So now it's got the UV map actually on the actual thing. Go here. We want to load the texture, so we're going to get rid of this texture. Go here, new. Now it's not a new texture because we've already got a texture. Just put a new one on it. Go here, go image, go open, loading. Now you see here where you go UV map. We go in here. Now if you notice, we don't. If you go here, look, we don't have the actual texture for it. Just load that text. Just load the UV map on it for a minute. Now, as you can see, we need a texture for that, but we don't have it. So get rid of this. Okay, now, just make a new one on it. Go back to texture because we didn't save it. So you see the shield, we didn't apply that. So this is going to be the UV map for this thing. So as you can see, that's the name of it there. Look. So go texture. Go here. Save it as. It should be saved in the same file. Okay, now it's called texture. Save it. Don't do nothing. Go back over here. Click here. Go image. Open. You see how we got another file in here called TX 1001. Load that. See, yeah. The rock will turn like a dark colour. Now you can paint it in here if you want to paint the rock in here. You can paint it. The colour that I'm using is that colour there. So if you left click hold and drag it, press Control C to copy, not the whole thing. Press that. Just copy the name. Now what we want to do is obviously pick a colour for it. Go here, go texture paint. We want to paint it. There's a thing here, look, and there's one over here. You can paint it here, or you can paint it here. You can take your pick. Go here. I'll just go here. Type in 45, 45, 45. That's the default colour for this blend the line here, this little skinny line. Now once you've done that, press enter. You'll notice the colour is there. You can press the paint bucket and just basically throw it on top of the rock. And you can see that it actually paints all of the model for you. It's a better way to paint your model than actually going over here and painting the model. It doesn't matter which way you do it. But I'm saying, I don't want to go over here and start painting this. I want to paint this. Go back to your image, save it. Go back to your texture, this one here, delete that, save it. Make sure it's saved. Go back in here, delete that. Go back to, just make a new texture for it, and then put a shield on it. Go back to load. Load the image. Okay. Now it's going to ask me where my image is. Now my images are all saved here. It's not there, it's in downloads. So if you go in here, find your actual image. Now again, we didn't save it. Go back to here. I don't know why I didn't save it. Go to save. You see how it's not in there, look? Just save it again, because Blender's messing around. So save that, go back in here. Go back to your downloads, go back in here. You see this one? This is that texture, look, it's got TX on it. Load the texture, so it's actually loaded on the model. Now if we go back to layout mode, we've got model mode. I like to use layer. Go back into there, just so you can close all that. Now your model is actually ready to be exported. So we can click on the model, go here, export. You can export it to whatever you want. I'll export it as a Collada downloads in here. We'll export it, we'll delete that. Tick this, and this. Apply that, tick that, go to animation thing, go that. Even though there's no animation on it, just tick it, go here. Tick all of these and go export. Now we can export it as well as an OBJ, go export, OBJ. Leave it as it is, click on the actual OBJ, delete it, make sure everything's ticked, go export. Now if you want to smooth the rock, if you want to smooth it, you can right click, go to smooth. It will actually smooth the rock for you. But even though it did smooth it, I'm thinking I don't want to smooth the rock, so I want to go back up here and do the smooth. I don't want to smooth that rock because it's perfectly fine as it is. So I'm thinking it's a rock, so I'm thinking I don't want really kind of smooth edges on it. I'm thinking now that we've actually got a model and we've done all the hard work, that's it, the whole thing is done. So you basically you learned how to UV map it. So as I said, to UV map it, all you do is basically load in the model, go into UV. The first thing you would do is obviously go over here, obviously create a new UV. So you delete that and you say create a new one. You can create a new one for it. Go over here, select the whole model, and it basically does that. If you don't do that, if it doesn't do that for some reason, just go to the UV map. You can unwrap it. I'll show you. You can unwrap it. We're not going to keep it, so it doesn't matter. So watch, just go unwrap. Give it a couple of seconds, and it'll remap it for you. It'll give you a different basically shape. See like that. Now I don't want that kind of map, so go here. We can try this map. Just tick that, and go okay. Now this is the map we're actually using. Look, this is the map we've actually got. So now, if you want that kind of UV map, you can do that. You can come back down here and look at different maps. You can box map it. So go here. If you come down here, you can go best planar. Let's try that. Let's click that. Now, of course, that's not bad because that actually gives you the actual rock. Now, if it's actually off the texture like that, look, you can only see one side of the texture, so it's not really any good. So I'm thinking, I don't really want that texture. Go back down here. Go to box mapping. Now, box mapping is different. It's the same kind of thing. But it's the same kind of map look, but you get to see all the bits of rocks. Now, you can leave them as they are. You don't need to put them inside the box because it knows exactly what colour they are. If you want to move them, you can go over here and scale it. And you can scale all that. So if you want to do that, press this one, select all of that, and then don't move it, just go to scale and then basically just scale it down and put it on top of the box. If you want to do that, we're not going to do that either, so we're going to go back to its original file, not like that. So we're just going to press undo, so that's it. Now what you can do, once you've actually made your model, you can basically get rid of this if you want to, just put it in a bin. You can go back, you can import your Collada, import your OBJ, doesn't matter which one. Okay, so go back to downloads. I'm going to import the Collada because I use Collada a lot. bring the collider in. Now what we can do, we can leave this rock here, because that's our main rock. We can copy it, we can paste it, we can hide that rock if you want to. Now go to the second rock. Now let's say you want a big pile of rocks for the game. You want big ones, small ones, round ones, square ones, it doesn't matter. Okay, first of all, I'm going to tell you, get the rock and kind of stretch it, not like that. Click here and kind of stretch the rock. Now it's kind of great. Now don't forget it's already UV'd, so we can just go here and squish it. We don't want to make it smaller, we want to basically just wash the rock. Now if we look at the rock, we've got like a kind of a different rock, it's got like a couple of different layers on it. I think, yep, that looks kind of great. Really. Now if you try to model that, it's going to take you a while to model it. But now if we bring this rock back, what we can do, we can take the bottom rock if we want to. We can kind of rotate it slightly. Go here, rotate it. Now of course, don't forget it's going to have a bit of a floor on it, so I'm going to put this on top of here. Now if you imagine that's in the game and it's like a part of a level, and you kind of, I'll just put in here a blender plane. We're going to go scale, we'll scale the plane so it's not so big. Now if you imagine this is the floor in the level, obviously the rock and the thing actually ain't on the floor. Select both of them, select both, go here, kind of go to side view, kind of drag it down to the floor, click on this one, drag this down to the floor, because we don't want to have a floating rock. Now of course it's not, we don't want it touching the actual model. So in order to do that, just click here and just kind of tilt the rock a bit more, bring it back out the floor, kind of rest it on the rock. Now, as you can see, you can kind of slowly build up your level. And of course, if you want different type of rocks, and as I said, you can just click on the rock, any one you want, let's say that one, copy it, paste it. Now I said I built a whole entire level out of this one rock, so you can kind of scale it down and kind of move it. Now of course, we can tell it's the same rock. So we'll put this over here. So maybe someone jumps on the end of there, maybe that flies off somewhere. Maybe. It's up to you, however you want to do it. Now of course, we know it's the same rock because we can tell by looking at it. But just by clicking here, we can kind of stretch it maybe a little bit this way. Now of course, it is the same rock, but if you go in, if you walk in the game scene and you see there's like now 3 different rocks. Now there's multiple ways you can pull this rock, bend it, twist it. It's entirely up to you. And as I said, it's one rock, but it's not one rock, it's a whole entire rock thing. So you can do with it basically whatever you want. It's only, as I said, it's only one rock, that's all it is. So the way you want to shape it, twist it, bend it, you can go to sculpt mode. Sculpting different. If you go into sculpt, you can kind of add different patterns, different shapes, different twists, different bends, like this on a rock. See like that? It kind of gives you a look at what you can actually do to the rock. So you can kind of paint on the rock, basically. I'm not actually clicked on the rock, I'm on this rock here. So I'm kind of keep painting it like this, if I want to. And now my rock's starting to look a little bit more different. So as I said, you can kind of do it to anything. So obviously like that one, look, I'm not on it, so I can't click it. I have to just click the model. So if we go here, go object, click the model, go back to here, go edit. Now we don't want to edit because obviously we're in sculpt mode, so we want to sculpt it. So look down here, find sculpt. So pick whatever you want to do with it. I'm going to leave this on it because we're going to kind of mess around with the actual geometry. So we're just going to paint a little few things on it. Just in case you want to learn how to do a bit of geometry like this, like that. Now of course you can cut grooves into it. You can do loads of things with it, you really can. Just pick, or this one, look, this one actually cuts like a groove actually into the actual model look. Now it's kind of great if you want to kind of do that, but as you can see, look, it's totally changing the shape of the rock. So if you imagine now you're building a game mode and you're kind of designing it the way you want to design it, you can have the rock look however you want it to look. That now, these kind of tools I'm just showing you just here, they're great if you're making a tree. If you're making a tree, this tool here that I've got in my hand here, this one here, it's great for like adding bark on a tree. So if you got a tree, say making the bark like that look on a tree, just kind of put it on and just kind of stretch it in a straight line like that. And then kind of overlap it a little bit like that. So it looks kind of like a bit like a tree bark. When you make it, you paint it and you kind of add the shadows to it. It looks absolutely great, it really does. So anyway, this is just a basic quick Blender tutorial on basically how to add a texture to your model. So I'll come back out of this mode, go back into layer mode, click on the Blender plane, get rid of that. So as I said, these are my 3 rocks if you want them. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on all 3 rocks. I'm going to go here, export it. I'll export it as a collada, so I'm going to add a new one on here. So I'll call it P for pack. So let's just say that. Now, if we actually go here, export that, delete that, go back here, import it, just in case somebody actually wants to keep that part. Now, I can upload this to Sketchfab, and of course, if you want to mess around with the model and you want to kind of use that somewhere in the level, you can use it. As you've seen, it's all made out of one rock. All of my content, every last little piece of it, it's all free of charge. You can do with it whatever you want. You can put it in a render, you can put it in a game, you can put it in a commercial game, you can put it on your video channel, you can do a video about it, you can do whatever you want. Once you download my content, my 3D content, you can do with it whatever you like. If you take my content, if you do that, and you modify it, twist it, bend it, shape it doesn't matter what you do with it. If you want me to come and have a look at your content, what you've done with it, that's great. Now, if you do something to it and I really like it, provided it's still free, I'm going to download it back off you. I really am. So anyway, I'm thinking the more people who can actually mess around with the content, like let's say I've not done a UV map for it, like I just done. I pressed a UV map, done that, done a texture. Yeah, it's not the greatest texture in the world, but it's kind of okay. So I think if somebody knows how to texture properly, they can basically take the model, the texture off the model. They can maybe paint it, decorate it, do whatever it is they do. They can work their magic and make it look 100 times better. They really can. Because it's all about the texture. It's the texture that makes it look great. That's what it does. So even though the model, even with no texture, it still looks kind of great. But I think it looks better with the texture. So obviously on here, really you'd add some dirt on there, add a little bit of grass to it, add a bit of moss to it. It will look great if you kind of if you mess around with this for a little while. It will look absolutely great. It really will. So anyway, as I usually say, thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe, thumbs subscribe. The choice is yours, and I want to keep it that way. So if you don't mind subscribing, please subscribe. It's free of charge, no catches. If you want my content, you will find it on Sketchfab, and I will put a link under the video for the actual rock. So I'm going to upload this rock to Sketchfab, and I might just add this with it. So just in case you want this one as well. So anyway, if you'll see 2 links under there, the one link is for that rock, and the second link will be for all 3 rocks together. So anyway, it's up to you. All you have to do is basically download the model. When I share my models on Blender or anywhere else, I export my models as a glyph folder. So when you download the model, it's going to be called a glyph folder. So just open Blender, go to import, go to glyph and import it, and then you can export it whatever you want. As I said, when I export my models, I export them as OBJ or Collada. That's what I do. But if I share my models, because of the textures, animations, and everything else to go with it, I just make a glyph folder because everything is actually made, embedded inside of the folder. Anyway, thanks so much for watching the video. See you soon. Bye.